wife and I got a divorce, and I had been down here on a Mexican trip, not to San Miguel, but I just decided that I would try it, and I did it. And I booked into the Geneva in Mexico City. And the next day I went to the bus station, and I didn't speak any Spanish, but I went there, and the waiting room was a bunch of blondes and redheaded people, and so, I mean, all speaking English. And so we were all coming up to the Instituto to study, really to have a good time all summer is what we were doing, of course. And it was, the Instituto was really going strong then. And we got here with no reservations, hotels, and everything was just wide open. It was fabulous.
And this was about when?
About 1975, I would think. It was the energy that was in town. Everybody was. It wasn't slow. It was just everybody was curious and terribly friendly. The Mexicans were friendly towards us, and it was just a nice small group that we reacted with each other. So I studied painting. I actually went to the Instituto to meet people. That was a good way to meet people and do some studying. And I painted, and I had classes every day, every morning, and then sometimes in the afternoon. And then we would play at about 5 o'clock. We would meet for drinks. We would meet for drinks, and that was it. And we had parties, and I rented a house on Quadrante. It was downtown. It was a two-way street at that point too. All these streets were two-way now, and the Harding was not blocked off. It was taxis went around. I don't know. It was very exciting. I'm an architect. That's my profession, and it's all the same, design, and it's all the same thing. And I've been drawing and painting all my life, but when I came down here, I didn't have any papers to do architecture, so I started painting and professionally, and then having shows in the States and all around. So that's how that got started, and I've had a good time doing it. It's got to travel a lot, so it was fun. Bob and I were having lunch one day, and our waitress told us about a house on Canal and took us down to see it, and we bought the house we bought from her, and then we learned that later that she didn't get her commission. The people that owned the house did not pay her commission, so we learned about the Mexican way things are done down here are not done. So that was it. That was the lesson, but we felt sorry for her. So anyway, well, the inconveniences was, if you want to call it that, is the electricity went out all the time, but it really didn't make any difference. Why would that matter? Who cared? So there was stuff you couldn't get ice. You didn't trust the ice and drink, so you would have it just with soda water or something. But that's not a hardship. That wasn't a hardship at all. In fact, I don't remember any hardship except maybe the telephone and parents trying to get in touch with you. Are you trying to get in touch with them? On the telephone was kind of hard, and we had telephone. We would go to a public telephone, and I don't know what that was called, but that was interesting. There weren't that many restaurants in town either, so yeah. Oh, the Sierra Nevada was kind of interesting back then. The Sierra Nevada was owned by a guy named Palomino, whose last name was Palomino. It was Maruca, his sister, who was quite somebody around. You remember Maruca? He owned it, and we understand, we don't know how true it was, that he won the whole thing in a poker game or some kind of card game. And anyway, so he opened a restaurant there, but he didn't let everybody in. You were kind of screened, and there was no sign or anything, but I had read an article on Mexico in Gourmet magazine, and they had mentioned this Palomino's restaurant in the Sierra Nevada, but there's no sign on it. So anyways, so we went there and we met him, and we gave him the Gourmet magazine that had his stuff in it. So he let us eat there. So it was fun. Yeah, it was quite nice. You know, it was all done in good taste too. It was right at first, and that was one of the first things that we wanted to do, was interact with with their country. And so, if you were having a little party, or we learned not to have a dinner party, because if you had invited a Mexican friend, if they came at all, they would bring 6 or 7 people with them, and you didn't know how to handle it. So the cocktail parties were one thing, but dinner parties. Well, we interacted with some people, yes. Mama Mia's was just getting started. It was a house, of course, and it was really lovely. And we spent New Year's Eve there one night, and maybe 10 people in the whole place. We were in the front room, and midnight came, and the first violinist for the Guanajuato Symphony came and played it. It was just another magic evening, And it was just I haven't been back. I don't go there too much, but I got older. But that was a special night with the music. It's just beautiful. In fact, everything was fun, and kind of not real, but it worked. The changes, the people, the traffic is, of course, much heavier, but still, it's the best place I've ever been anywhere in the world. I think I'm not leaving.